Hello and welcome. It is Saturday, the 18th day of April 2020. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. Like we're always, all bets, trades, and of the like, that's within each his own risk and their own reward. Alrighty, let's get started. And we'll do so within Bitcoin against the US dollar. And these lines that I've drawn in here represent the symmetricalness that the Bitcoin price has been having over the last little while, and thus it's pretty much in the middle. So I mean, I'm a long ways away from talking about, yeah, it looks like Bitcoin's long term ready to go for a big move higher, or even that it's in the breakdown stages, because if it's going to break down, I'm going to be looking for support at and above this line, and then for resistance at and below, of course, this level. And it does seem right now, in that of how I'm seeing this today and how this coincides within the 18 average of highs right here. I'm impressed within Bitcoin how in the Friday session, how I was able to hold and stay, like just to hold the move that I had, a 7.49% 7.44% gain on Thursday. So it held that move. And that's really what's important when I see decent moves up or down, is how it reacts to that situation. And reacting to it, just holding within the 18 highs like that, magnificent. But I like to see right now how it is breaking out. Nice, a beautiful little setup. And it's been in this long sideways consolidation here, viewing session on the hour. Resistance came in that of on the 4-hour stamp on April the 6th, 7,150. We also had resistance here on the 7 p.m. Eastern, 1900 stamp yesterday on Friday at 7,158. And right here around 7,100 low change, we had a lot of this resistance here where it just held with this 18 average of highs for a significant period of time. As well as this even little bit of resistance that it had here on the 5-hour stamp and then the 9-hour stamp here. As well as even the resistance on the 5, 6, 7 o'clock period. So really the whole thing is kind of hold and stay above this if, of course, it's not ready to break out from this gain that it had 9 o'clock this morning, as it's established short-term, even more shorter-term resistance here in the area of about 72.80. But the previous established resistance we can see comes in around 71, which is over a $100 drop. It's about a 1.8% move if it's going to happen from this point moving forward. But as it goes, holding and staying within that level would be a huge thing for it. And for being ready to, if it's ready to go in the shorter term, I want to use a different exchange for this, just because I'm going to be using, 5-minute time frame, 1-minute time frame. I would rather use this one. So in the 4-minute, we can see just by looking at what I show here, the 18 was rising, sideways consolidation, and then this minute here, 12 o'clock Eastern time, it's 12:18 as you can see on the time below. That 3-minute period is just going sideways, and now we see it breaking down. It looks like from this that this rally is probably over, and that we're going to have a Fibonacci retracement from this low of about 70.50 to this high at about 72.67. We've already had one down. 71.71 retest of that. And then below that, like a 61.8%. All those types of situations in play. But as we see it in here for resistance established, again, it did a lot of this. Well, first it came up towards the 72.60, but it was unable to get back to that point. It came up and found some around 72.40 up to about 72.50, which it did again here. So that's now been the big level of resistance, 72.50 to 72.67. But that's if it can reverse what it looks like it's already been reversing again on the short term. That's reversing this uptrend now to a downtrend, we can see that like this indicator, well, this period here really does show that in 1 minute time frame. We can see in here there's the up move that just had this long sideways consolidation in here. Now, this one we've already resisted several periods at this level of support. And now we see this period breaking down. Last minute at, why is there a minute at 5 left on a 1 minute candle? That makes no sense. I mean, literally, that makes no sense. Okay, anyway. We have sideways consolidation just a little bit within this. So yeah, to me it looks like short term that it's going to break down. But that's all like short term yada yada nonsense. Let's take a look at some altcoins. And that is the first one going to be DGB. And I got this on the 1 minute. And I got a line here which only represents where the high happens to be because it's an important one I want to talk about when showing this on multiple time frames. So in today's session, it got up to 115. Thankfully, I was able to get a nice little sell-in. And now it's just holding in there. So whatever it does from this point on is whatever it does. I'll just react to that fact thereafter. I don't need this. Actually, I do want this order in. Yeah. That's not an order. That's a notification. Because if it goes back down, that means I made a decent-sized sell. So if it goes back down here, okay, great. I'll be able to make a reversal of this trade that I just made. And also, this is like a must-hold, interesting comeback area as it is anyway. So it's good to just show that little line in here as it is. I also got a line at 53, which is support here. But as it goes, this little area of 93 we can see is resistance here. It's resistance here. It was resistance in here. So if there's anywhere I'd like to see it come back to, it also would happen to meet up with this 18 average, which found beautiful comeback support and a correctionary phase for now, thus what's now a second leg higher within this move down and back up. Just when you look at the volatility going from 73 now up to 115. And this to me looks like, oh my goodness, this is just beaten down so badly. But yet, if I multiply this, and I know the reason why I'm going to go Poloniex, because they don't, this little day down in here, just, it's, someone just sold it big, whatever. Why does Poloniex not come up? Did they get delisted on this? I don't think so. Interesting. Poloniex is no longer on here. Wow, okay. Well, let's do it this way then. And I need one more zero. And this is oftentimes why I will pause the tape, because it usually doesn't take me this long to do it, but just in case it does, it would be faster. Again, I missed 1-0. There we have it. Okay, so 112, we can see how this price is reacting to. This is Bitfinex. That's why I have to type it in. Anyway, you know what? That's DGB. Let's go on to the next one, which will be that of Tezos, XTZ. Well, Z in Canada, Z in the United States, and I don't know about other countries, which I think Europe is Z as well. I'm not sure about Australia. As it goes, within Tezos, on the weekly time frame, only so much data, but within it we can see this is good correctionary support in here. And it's looking like it's going to do that again, as we have like what looks to be excitation here on the weekly term chart. On the daily, after this down move in here, grinding its way lower at low volatility, it broke out on April the 6th, 3 days from the 2444-ish handle and resisting up in the 29 low area, and then consolidating at 28-ish handle for several days. But we can see here within the sessions of August or April 16th, a couple of days ago into today, that we're leaving the shorter term correctionary phase, and so far it's pierced below key Fibonacci level. And I've already done this majority of my selling that I need to in this area, so I've done the safe route in selling, piercing below, which I mean, I'm kind of wondering if I should be doing that rather than waiting for the price to actually hit this 32.46, considering it usually does. But as it goes on the 1 hour, we can see the breakout occurred at 9 o'clock today, leaving the short-term resistance. And when these things have breakouts, they can be pretty, well, I mean, it's not a great move, but it's still a concise move nonetheless. Going from 3,000 up to 32, that's a gain of about 7-8% relatively quick. On the 1 minute term time frame, we can see how the market had a little bit of loss of the steam at about 10:50 this morning, but it recovered it. And then broke out nicely at 11:27 for this leg higher. And then as we can see in here, and this is just short-term stuff again, but whatever, but the 11:56 handle, the red candle down, which does have another level of support established because originally supported 31.90. So now it reestablished a new level in at 31.76. And it spent some time recovering within the 18. Really not breaking out or breaking down. It did have some strength here from 12.09, 12.10, but it certainly lost it. And then we can see here when this level of support was obviously failed. Now it's continuously been just grinding its way lower ever since. And well, now we're having what's like the break of this trend line. Okay, 5 minute time. Let's use 4 minute because that'll work for me. Possibility of this one rolling out. And if this does, now we'll start talking about, okay, Fibonacci from this high to this low. And I'm not going to calculate it because for me, I'm just going to keep on calculating all the ratios in which that I do within these coins. And you can see DGB 17% up. There's Tesla's up 6.5%. So it's good to see those. And on side as the ratios are concerned, well, this is the GRS DGB 19, basically 20 now. And I got it on this one pretty much when I woke up. So that would have been like 19 and a half, like 19.4 or something I would have got. And the GRS that I bought are now in my hardware wallet because I can withdraw them off the exchange. And I mean, I trade ratios, another reason because of that. Because the ratio crossings, or the cost to withdraw, just like not much. Anyway, as far as this is concerned, daily chart, it's this is at levels not seen now since, well, quite some time, back to March of 2019. So this is at 13-month lows. After, obviously, this successful bearish correctionary move in here. And now this level of support, around 24.5, is what might end up being resistance. But it's not like people are really going to be looking at this too much. I don't realize, or I would think that not many people trade this pairing. But I like to. And I have for over a year now. Barely over a year. And then continuing further, I traded Bitcoin Cash and Tezos earlier today, and I did this for a while, and then I just stopped doing it. But you can see these. But obviously, what would I have done on the way up? I would have sold Bitcoin Cash to buy Tezos up until the first part of January, and then it would have been selling primarily Tezos in here, and then maybe then when it's going from 100 up to 125, then I'm gonna pick away at one little move in here, pick away again here. And then from March the 14th up until the end of March, it was selling Bitcoin Cash to buy Tezos. And ever since then, well, every single day has been nothing with the exception of April the 10th, has been a down day for Bitcoin Cash against that of Tezos, of course. Looking at some other ones in here, Dash and Tezos. I'm waiting on this one. This is the one I haven't traded yet. So if Tezos can further its gain, this is the one that's open to trade. And on this daily chart, I mean, when you look at the sick volatility, I mean, what else do I need to point out on this? 83 down to 26. I mean, this is a type of up and down choppy action I'm looking for. Because again, whatever's on the right hand, when this goes down, whatever's on the right hand side of the two is what I'm going to be selling, which in this case, from basically Halloween of last year to the solstice of last year, it was selling Tezos to buy Dash. And then from the solstice all the way up to January 15th, it was Dash selling only for Tezos. And then we can see here only selling Tezos and a little bit of selling Dash. And well, now I'm looking to sell some Tezos, but I'm looking, of course, for this to get a little bit lower and break this key previous of support of 35.10. I'd like to get a little bit better of a price that way. And PivX H-bar, haven't done that in a while. Bitcoin Cash H-bar, haven't done that in a while. Tezos Theta, did that earlier today. So in this case, we have Tezos on the left-hand side versus that of Theta on the right. So when this goes down, like in here, it's selling Theta. It's been pretty much primarily going up. But long term, again, this is something I'm expecting for this to do a lot of this up and down choppy action. But then if it does any type of long-term trends of significant proportions, and I'm just trying to move it go like that, that's why the line came like that, that even if this does go in favor of Tezos because it just is going to be the better coin, if it's able to stay in some sort of long-term choppy range like this, and then just keep doing its little thing kind of deal. And if it could trade in this type of range and it has a primary move, then that would work out fantastic as well. But of course, the long term and how this is going to move, I mean, this is taking me out to 2024, and maybe it's something I'll still be doing at that time. Again, how cryptos work long term, all that type of stuff, it's going to be a matter for time to tell upon all of that. And just for something to do, Dash and Theta is at 1,000. Oh, daily chart or weekly chart, this looks like it's going to break out. Meaning Dash looks like it's going to overperform that of Theta. But as we can see in here, just the up and down choppy action. Let me just put this maybe on the triple day just so I could. And this was a real event, November 30th of 2018. As long as your orders were there ready to go, or of course you were there at that time, because it was a very quick-lived event. But anyway, when you see all of these moves like this, there's opportunity just to flip coins back and forth, because however many Dash and Theta you would own here, well, certainly if you from day one. And then we got this point, then we got this point, and we got now. You're going to own more here than you did in here. And you're going to own more here than there, and so on and so on, just because you're flipping them back. And then the whole idea of this is for to not go straight up or straight down. And a lot of people talk about these sideways markets as choppy messes and untradeable. And technically speaking, they're the ones that I'm looking to have and thus trade. And let's take a look at, say, LITECOIN and Ripple as another example. Not as volatile. We can see in here just since over the last year plus, the range here has been 183 to 323. And then since like August of last year, the range is between 280 and 180. But really from like 210 and 280, that's nothing is fantastic. But you kind of need to expect that with coins of these types of natures. They're less volatile than coins like the Theta and the Tezos, and most certainly like the H-bar. Which, by the way, I want to talk about H-bar too, because I meant to talk about that. Let's go to ports. I think it's doing well so far in holding this rally. It's not guaranteed that it's going to continue to do so because as it goes, I believe that the must hold area for this market is appears below. I got this 347. I even got to think like 263 from this low. You need a higher low from this 117 at this point. Whether it's going to be this one or not yet, don't know. It's not showing that much of. It's showing more weakness than strength. Maybe as it's looking on the 18. But for what it's worth, it's still kind of neutral. We can see this is clearly supporting this Fibonacci mark here from the move lower at the end of March. And then now it looks like it maybe started to congest or resist it a little bit. But throwing that part aside, the holding of this move from the low area is fantastic. However, at least with the Atomic Wallet, you can store your Hedera hash graph on there now. And I sent it from both Binance and Bittrex. It's worked fine for me so far. So just wanted to point that out. And now I'm at the exchange where I pretty much have like none of my funds, very little available on the exchanges, and absolutely none on Bittrex. And really, all I'm going to need Bittrex for the most part is for that DGB and GRS trade. Yeah, I don't think there's really much more to talk about here. Ripple, nothing really going on there. Litecoin, not really. Dash has got an interesting setup here, though. Daily chart. I like how it's showing this movement here within the 18 over the last few days. And what do we got in the hour? I haven't looked at this one in a bit, but I did look at Dash on the daily earlier this morning, hence why I brought it up here. And it's just still consolidating here within the 18, which it's been doing since like 4 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.